Hello there. It's a crazy world these days. Maybe it's crazy all the time. Probably it is. But for the next 15 minutes or so, we're hoping to put that crazy aside and just show you some of the recent books we've found that will be in our store, available for purchase in the next couple of weeks. So sit back, have a coffee, and just relax. And if you're interested in any of these books, well, you know where to go. So without any more ado, I don't know. So with that, we'll get right into it. We have the Canadian Kids Guide to Outdoor Fun. It's from Scholastic. Disney's The Rescuers. It is a Grolier Book Club edition. We have Walt Disney's Story a Day for every day of the year. I'll just adjust that a little bit here. We have a book called When Dinosaurs Die, A Guide to Understanding Death. And The Elf on the Shelf, A Christmas Tradition. That's all we got for children's books. What did I say we would do? Some self-help, how about? Okay. Becoming the Narcicist's Nightmare. How to devalue and discard the narcissist while supplying yourself. That's by Shahida Arabi. We have an all-Canadian edition. Charles J. Givens, Wealth Without Risks for Canadians. The Story, the Bible as one continuing story of God and His people. Wonderlust by Vicky Kuiper. Do Hard Things by Alex and Brett Harris. Trust, 20 Ways to Build a Better Country. That's by David Johnson. Deadly Emotions by Don Colbert, MD. Get It Done When You're Depressed by Julie A. Fass and John D. Preston. PSIDABPB, whatever the heck that means. It means they're smart. That's what it means. Dr. Gary Smalley, Change Your Heart, Change Your Life. Okay. Now, I will. We have a really cute French book here, and I don't think there's too many words. Mostly just pictures. Oh, there's words too. And in French it's called Linvention de Hugo Cabaret by Brian Zelznick. And I guess it was made in the cinema. It's a Scholastic edition. Roman en mots et en images de Brian Selznick, traduit de l'anglais par Daniel Laroule. So it's a tradition, English tradition, translation. L'invention de Hugo Cabaret. Our next YA, I guess there's only 2 YA books. The Legend of Shadow High. This is one of the Ever After books. And that's from Shannon Hale and Dean Hale. And can the world of stories be saved? Okay, now we have some large print dramas, I guess. Jean Granger, Lilac Ink. That's a large print edition. Jean Granger, Lilac Ink. We have Suzanne. And that's a Canada Reads CBC Book 2019 selection. Translated by Rhonda Moulins, Anne Barbeau-Lavalette. So this sounds like a French book translated into English. The House at Riverton, a novel by Kate Morton. And finally, our last large print, The Schoolhouse, a Hickory Grove novel by Elizabeth Bromke. Now we'll dive into some fantasy, baby. So we have two books here from the Wakefield Dynasty. It's called The Sword of Truth, and it's by Gilbert Morris. And it is one of the books. I can't remember which one. Book 1. Then we have The Winds of God. And that is book 2. So book 1 and book 2. The Winds of God. That's the Wakefield Dynasty. We have some paperbacks here. Most of our fantasies this time around are paperbacks. This one's by George Lucas. Interesting. Didn't know he wrote a fantasy book. It's called Shadow Dawn by Chris Claremont. Story by George Lucas. David Eddings, Sorceress of Dashiva. This is book 4 of the Malloreon. Mercedes Lackey and Larry Dixon, The White Griffin, book 2 of the Mage War. Oops. The Mage War series. Now this, I'm not sure if this is a fantasy or a sci-fi. It's one of those crazy covers that I love. It's called Alien Wargames by Martin Godfrey. Alien Wargames. Then we have 2 books of the same series here by Ellis Peters. This is the 12th Chronicle of Brother Cadwell, the Raven in Forgate, and the Confession of Brother Halen. This is the 15th Chronicle. So there are quite a few books in this series, and these are 2 of them. We have another David Eddings, Demon Lord of Karanda. Demon Lord of Karanda. And finally, a Harry Turtledove. Now I know he's not fantasy, more, well, kind of fantasy, I guess. Alternative history, you know what if, I guess, type books. But here we have the Colonisation, Down to Earth by Harry Turtledove. Harry Turtledove is probably the best known practitioner of alternate history working today. So if you're interested in what if, what could have been, what would have happened if, you know, so and so, you know, what if Hitler got killed in World War I, that kind of stuff. What would the world be like? Those are always interesting questions. Okay, we'll get into some of our textbooks. First, I need a cup of cocoa juice. Okay, we have some really nice bird watching books. This is the Sibley Field Guide to Birds of Eastern North America. Okay. Then we have the Sibley Field Guide to Birds of Western North America. Beautiful. Got all sorts of pages and colors. Some of them are a little highlighted and marked up, but an excellent resource. Advanced Play Therapy. Guide to Breastfeeding. Agile Project Management. The Complete Guide to Sports Nutrition. Teach Like a Champion. 49 techniques that put students on the path to college. And there is a CD included in this book. Recruiting, retaining, and promoting culturally different employees. And finally, this is a heavy one. Investments. The 7th Canadian edition. Bodie, Kane, Marcus, Paracus, and Ryan. Investments. All right. Before we get to our book club editions, and they're not all book club editions, but they're book club-ish editions. We've got a few DVDs here. Open Season 2. These are brand new. We only sell brand new videos and DVDs. Sky Med Season 2. And Rescue Me, the complete 3rd season. All right. So, some of our book club editions, or book club-ish editions. I'm not sure if this is one or not. It's a very unique book, this one. It's called The Cold Moons, a novel by Aaron Clement. Now, we sold a book a few months ago called The Raven, I think it was. And then we found another book not that long ago I gave to my sister. And it was about dinosaurs. Now, the thing that's interesting about these books that I'm talking about is that they're written through the viewpoint of an animal. So The Raven was like the story of a raven. It was quite interesting premise. Now, I have a feeling that this is a similar book. It's called Cold Moons, a novel by Aaron Clement. And I think it's about a skunk or something like that. Not sure what that is. Badgers, I guess. People like Aaron Clement in his wondrous Cold Moons can make us care about animals like badgers and think about badgers exactly as if they can, in their own way, think and feel. This is a book that makes you both think and care very much. So there you go. It's called The Cold Moons by Aaron Clement. Now we have a Dick Francis omnibus type. 4 complete novels. Odds Against, Flying Finish, Bloodsport, and Rat Race. Complete and unabridged. Now this is a book club edition. Robin Cook. And it's called Godplayer. Godplayer by Robin Cook. This also is a book club edition from the author of Airport Wheels. And the author is Arthur Haley. So, Wheels. Now here's if you're into collecting vintage books, we have a collector's edition, deluxe edition, from the Companion Book Club. It's Alistair McLean. Okay, he writes military novels, military suspense, that type of thing. and it's called Force 10 from Navarone. And it's a very beautiful book, very beautiful cover, and it's from the Companion Book Club. And so this was around in 1968, and it's in really good shape. So if you're a collector, you collect these types of books, this will be available for sale on our site. This book here, Rogers Writers Trust Fiction Prize winner, as well as the Scotiabank Giller Prize finalist, so didn't win the Giller but won the Rogers Writers. It's called The Golden Mean, and this by Annabelle Lyon. Now we have another Alistair McLean book, also a book club edition. It's not a companion book club, but still a book club edition. The thing I like about book club editions is they're rare. They don't make them anymore. You can't reproduce them. Amazon can't publish one because they only made so many. So if you're a fan of these vintage hardcover book club edition type books, check out the site. We have quite a few of them actually. And finally, The Quick and Easy Way to Effective Speaking, revision by Dorothy Carnegie, of Public Speaking and Influencing Men in Business by Dale Carnegie. Everybody knows who that is, I would imagine. And this is a very nice conditioned vintage book. There is a bit of a stain on the cover, but I would suggest it hasn't never been read. So there you go. Effective Speaking. If you're into reading or collecting. Now, before we get into our book sets, we do have some political literature here, some political dramas, some political books. Number one, The Canadian Acheivers. If these stories don't motivate you, nothing will. How they did it, how you can do it, and why you should do it. Then we have John Perkins, Confessions of an Economic Hitman. Native American Wisdom. Jezebels War with America, the plot to destroy our country and what we can do to turn the tide. The Next Decade, Empire and Republic in a Changing World. Mysteries of the Middle Ages, the rise of feminism, science, and art from the cults of Catholic Europe. So I take it this has a particular point of view. Might be interesting. Mysteries of the Middle Ages. All right. Now, we only have 2 book box sets to talk about. Actually, really only one, I think. The other 2 are DVDs. So we have a box set called The 7 Sequels. And it is, you read one, read them all. You choose the order. So follow the adventures of the best-selling 7 stories in the 7 prequels, 7 the series, and the 7 sequels. 3 series, 21 books, 7 authors. Eric Walters, John Wilson, Ted Staunton, Richard Scrimmage, Noah McClintock, Sigmund Brower, Shane Peacock. So the books in question are Sleeper, Broken Arrow, Coda, The Wolf and Me, From the Dead, Tin Soldier, and Double U. And these are, I'm going to guess, youth young adult books. So if you have a young adult in your family, if you're looking for a adventurous book to read, or a box set, or a series, or whatever the case, it might be something you might be interested in. Season 24, or 24, season 2. This is a new condition, still in the wrapping. And the Ultimate Brain Box. And this is a DVD collection. It's the complete library of all 10 acclaimed national public television specials on the brain. Yes. Now, finally, we have some very interesting books. Well, what I think is interesting anyway. First up, we have Billy Graham's Angels. Now, this is a very popular book. However, this particular cover is not so common. So, this cover will be the book you buy if you buy this book. There might be a different cover on the listing itself, but this is the book. Now we have two, I was not able to find the other two of a 4-part series called Doctors of Death, and this has to do with the Holocaust. So we have volume 3. Okay, volume 3 is called When Man Became a Guinea Pig for Death. Translated from the French by Edward Bizub and Philippe Hansler under the guidance of Linda Marie de Turenne. So this is a translated copy of some of the terrible stuff that happened during World War II. This is volume 4. So we have volume 3 and volume 4. Volume 4, When the Beginning Was the Master Race. Doctors of Death. Now we also have The Canadian Establishment, Volume 2. This very beautiful slipcover. It's a very beautiful hardcover. Hard to know which way is up, but I don't have a clue what this is about. Maybe some legal book. Not sure, but it's in very good condition. The Canadian Establishment, Volume 2. It's probably something I should read. And maybe I will. Now we have a very nice, this is a huge book. Very beautiful. It's called the T.E. Lawrence 7 Pillars of Wisdom. And it comes in this beautiful folio. It's from the Folio Society. This nice slipcover. 7 Pillars of Wisdom. Very collectible. Very beautiful book. Now the Folio Society makes kind of collectible books. They kind of do them up in nice hardcovers, protective folios, some beautiful illustrations. They really do a pretty good job of creating memorable books that if you're interested in the authors or you like the books, then you really need to have a folio edition version of that book on your bookshelf. You know, it's just kind of one of those things that you just need to do. So here we have another folio edition. Now this is called What is Life? And this is by Erwin Schrödinger. So this is quite an interesting book. Again, it comes in a protective slip case. There's really not much to the cover. It's just basically just a gray cover with a little graphic, and I guess it's a question mark. That's what it is. What is life? That's cute. And it has some fading to the cover. This has been used, but yeah, it's the Folio edition of Erwin Schrödinger's What is Life? And for our final, we have a book called Al Met by Moonlight, and it's also folio. It has a very beautiful cover. Beautiful. It is written by George G. Harrop and Co. It was first published in 1950. The text of this edition follows that of the first edition. Published by arrangement with Burfoot Books Limited and Castle and Co. Publishers. Copyright W. Stanley Moss 1950. Introduction M.R.D. Foote 2001. Afterward Patrick Lee Firmer 2001. So it's a 2001 version, All Met by Moonlight. That is it. That is what we have available for February. This is February 11th, so it should be available by the time you see this video. So if you want, if you're interested, there will be a link to our Amazon store and our website where you can also find these books through our site as well. So yeah, I want to thank you very much for watching. I know it was a little longer than 15 minutes, but like I said, it's a crazy world, and I want to thank you for spending 15 minutes of that crazy world with our video. So have a great day.